All right. Good evening, everybody. Or would you call this night? I don't know. I decided to do a very late night stream. I want to keep like a consistent schedule, but the problem is I work as well, so it's a little bit hard to have a consistent one where I can rely on it. I'm trying to work on that at the moment, but yeah, we'll work with what we got. So anyway, as you can tell by the music behind me, it is time yet again for Ace Attorney. So yeah, as you can tell by the grave behind the title card, we are currently at the the House of Horrors at Madame Tussauds, where we currently find out that the professor mannequin is missing its head. Don't lose your head, huh? So right now we're gonna get back into it. I am really excited because I think this is when we finally get to meet Drebber. I want to say I forgot when it happens, but I am pretty sure Drebber is going to make an appearance at this part of the game. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? So yeah, we have to talk with Sholmes first. Let's get this. I believe I told you a little bit about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, everyone being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound and had their throats ripped from their bodies.
Oh gosh, an enormous hound? How awful.
After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand. Accordingly, the professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted. A closed court? So you mean that the professor's identity... As you surmise, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Naturally, he was found guilty and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. Real quick, is it pronounced cemetery or cemetery? I say cemetery because that's what I'm used to, but still. I want to know if there's like anyone else who calls it differently. However, that was not the end of the affair.
Oh?
The very night that he was buried, the convicted man came back to life.
What? Came back to life?
He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibitor depicts that very scene, as described by the sole witness to those chilling events.
There was a witness?
But of course, my dear fellow, none other than the young man in the white overcoat.
Enoch Drebber. He saw it happen?
Yep. After seeing that, no wonder his hair went white. So, this is a waxwork model of Enoch Drebber. 10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of the night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old. Jesus. If he's 20, I am 19.
It's so horrifying.
Scared out of his wits, the young Drebber ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he'd seen is said to have turned his hair white overnight.
Yes, as shown in the photograph we have of him, his hair is completely white.
For the following few days, the story of what he'd seen was on every front page in the capital. The public was frantic for every last detail about the killer who'd come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created here at Madame Tussauds.
I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. But what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place. In a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night.
Sorry, you gotta fix this.
Yes. What was he up to?
I don't know, my dear fellow. You riddle me that.
Well, I can't put myself in the shoes of an Englishman, so you tell me, Sholmes.
No. Fine. For 5 shillings, I'll give you my input.
I swear, this man will do anything to feed Iris, because he's desperate at this point. He will do anything to make sure both he and she are fed and that they have a roof over their head, which is admirable and honorable. Hats off to Sholmes. Come on, Sholmes, take your hat off. But like at the same time, it's like he's not being very like, what is it? What's the word? He's not being very coy about it. He's not being very like sly about it. He's just like very blunt, like, please give me money. I don't know. I feel like that's a lot of people at one point though. They get so desperate they have to literally almost like beg their friends and family to help them, which is honestly something that like I don't think. Well, I personally hope I never have to do in my life. That's the one thing I don't want to do ever.
The professor's acts of terror threw London's upper classes into complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever before systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder.
Yes, I can imagine the impact the case must have had.
But in time, of course, the rumors abated. So too did talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who came back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale.
But why did people stop believing it?
Why, simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as was established in fact.
What do you mean by no resurrection?
The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution.
No! But that would mean Mr. Drebber must have lied to the police and the newspapers.
That would appear to be the only logical explanation, yes. The young man subsequently vanished from society, and nothing has been heard of him since. It's rather striking, then, that he should resurface now, don't you think?
Of course, the convicted murderer couldn't really have come back to life. That's not possible. But Drebber's hair is unusually white, and if that really did happen overnight as a result of shock, it's hard to believe the incident was an out-and-out lie.
Let's take a quick sip.
Oh, jeez. It's Gina.
Okay, I need water for this. Her voice. Jesus Christ, give me 1 second. Oh boy. Okay, here we go.
What the bleeding Nora, Odo? What have you gotten done?
Gina, what are you doing here?
I asked Iris, and she said this is where you be, so... Stop.
What is happening?
Gina, not so loud in the museum.
Madame Tussauds would have you take a position as waxwork if you're not careful.
I think there might be a more pressing concern. can only imagine like two spells is like hearing all this. She like bursts in. She has like all the wax ready to go. She's like,
Okay, who is the first one I drown today?
I swear she's probably up to here with all of Herlock's like how many things, like all the quirks and all of his antics. I'm pretty sure she's done with all that by this point.
I still had some flash powder left from 6 months ago, so. Alright, Gina, we understand. But please, put down the gun!
Oh boy. That was a long minute.
Sorry, I got scared.
You should try being the one on the other end of the barrel. So, what brings you here, Gina?
What brings me here? What you think? We found it. We found it at Dodgy Cove's workshop.
What? You found Drebber's workshop?
Hey, get on you, Toby. Yep, Toby's nose took me straight here. There. Not here, there. The boss and the others are heading over there now in a drag. So come on. Here's the address. I got the boss to write it out. Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once. Ugh.
Thankfully, I have more neutral voices, like I keep saying, because Jesus, like Gina, Sholmes up here, Ryunosuke, and Susato right down here. So if I'm up here, I need to go back down here a few times, please. Thank you. Speaking of which,
alright then, see you there.
you go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here, being still.
What?
Oh, oh Jesus. Okay. That image is cursed. You can't tell me that's not a cursed image. Nope. Okay, we gotta get through this. Okay, quickly, go. I know my place in the exhibit over there.
Oh dear. Someone is feeling sorry for himself.
Sholmes, what happened to your eyes? Let's go, Mr. Sholmes. You're coming. Your words heartened me, I must say. But if I were to shirk my duties here, Madame would have me pay monetary recompense. And Iris is in a plated.
Oh, forget that. I'll pay for everything.
Then there's not a moment to lose, my dear fellow. I shall hail a carriage at once.
No offer to share the cost from Mr. Sholmes, then. I shall gladly pay him half, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thank you, Mr. Sato. Right, let's go.
"23rd of October. Let's go into Enoch Drebber's workshop."
That looks like...
Oh, it's another super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine.
Indeed, it would appear so. They're only a prototype, naturally.
So it got ya then. Gina, well done for finding this place. And in such little time, you really worked miracles. It's Toby is the miracle worker.
One second, guys. Sorry about that.
Now, where were we? What is with this face? Okay, I didn't remember this from my last playthrough of this thing, but what is up with everyone's face in this one? Like, I don't get it. Oh, I thought your lot was sheriff before long. Hello, Inspector. That's one knitted brow. He looks like he's eating a lemon, not a bag of fish and chips. So, Inspector, is there any sign of the engineer? Sadly not. We didn't find a soul in here. Oh, what a shame. Well, thank you for letting us know about this place and giving us the chance to investigate. According to what Jaina tells me, we only found it thanks to a clue that you lot turned up. I wouldn't want to say, gotta perish with a debt of gratitude unpaid now, would I? Thank you. Anyway, if you're open to snoop around in here, and get cracking. Lord Van Zeeks and the forensic investigation team are on their way as we speak. Them again? I imagine you've got the picture by now. They don't take that kindly to lawyer types. Right. So then, my dear fellow, let's turn this place upside down whilst we have the chance. And you, Sholmes. Pardon? They take even less kindly to great detectives than they did to lawyers. Very droll, Gregson, very droll. But you may consider me nothing more than an inconspicuous waxwork model. See, even my eyes disappear. Right then, let's see what we can find in here, right after I let my dog out. Let's see. I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. That machine is covered by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. There would be serious repercussions if you were to examine it from the Crown and the government. Yes. Yes, indeed. Oh, I could lift this into my pocket if I could. Well, those two don't seem to be holding back. It's quite hollow inside. No working parts or devices of deception to be seen, my dear fellow. No loose change dropped on the floor or nothing. No, not even a bird for derby here, my dear fella. British people are very much ruled by their own ideals, aren't they? I think that's just these two, Miss Susato. Let's see. Let's go up. Okay, see if there's anything up here that I need to find. Nope. Okay. Ah, this appears to be most interesting. Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say? It's an impressive looking back massager, that's for sure. I have no doubt that if you hit your shoulders a few times with that, your aches and pains would soon go away. Now, why are you starting to sound like me, Mr. Naruhodo? It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could wish for no higher honor. Ah. Well, now I just feel embarrassed. Well, you should be, Mr. Naruhodo. Would you like a massage? I mean, the invitation's always welcome. Anything for you, Sholmes.
No, I'm fine. Thank you. I had no idea it was such a grand thing.
I think it's becoming increasingly clear that there's much more to this Mr. Enoch Drebber than conjuring tricks.
I couldn't agree more, my dear madam. And how about you, Mr. Naruhodo? Wouldn't you like to take it with you? For your tired shoulders, of course.
He's not going to let that go, is he?
No, I won't.
It's curious though, isn't it? You would expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery at times. The science trophy has been entered into the court record.
Let's see.
What on earth is this? An aeroplane, Mr. Naruhodo. One day, scientists believe it will allow humans to fly freely in the skies.
Is that how the trick will be described, is it?
Sorry? Well, it's actually suspended by a thin but very strong cable, isn't it? Oh, well, this model is yes, but a real aeroplane would actually fly high in the sky.
While suspended from somewhere even higher in the sky?
Of course! Because large metal objects obviously can't really stay in midair unsupported. So to you, the solution is ever taller towers?
I mean, hey, look at Park Avenue now in New York. All those buildings on Millionaire Row.
This is... It's a European-style quiver of arrows with steel bolts inside. Oh, do you suppose...
Crossbow bolt stays. And just the right size for the bow you lot turned up at the exhibition grounds.
In other words...
Yep. That's more evidence to support your theory. It all goes to show that Drebber was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes of the whole scam.
The details of the crossbow have been updated in the court record.
Okay, let's see. I think we have to check this door next. And then we gotta text to Gregson.
This door doesn't want to open.
Yeah, looks like it got a pretty hefty lock on it. There's a specialist locksmith on his way over from the yard, so hands off till he gets here. With permission, Inspector, I could have the lock open in less than a minute. But you don't have permission, and no one's giving it to you.
Gregson looked as though he really enjoyed that.
I mean, look at that coy slice smile. He ain't letting Sholmes get any of that action.
Well, there's no sound of anybody on the other side. No, Drebber must have fled at the first sign of danger. Oh? Is something wrong, Miss Susato? Well, I thought I heard a noise from the far side of that door. Well, Gina, did you hear it too?
Yeah, I heard it and all. What you reckon, Toby?
Oh, I love Toby.
Right, mind the grace. Whoever's in there, open up. There's a Scotland Yard. Well, there he goes.
Oh my, someone is in there.
Ah, this rotten blatant lock. My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago, If only it were countenanced, I could unlock that door in less than a minute. Fine. I'll take the rap for it. Just get us through the blasted door. There, you may enter at will. You've confused minutes with seconds, I think. Time is of the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for? Nothing for it, I suppose. This is an emergency. There's a strong possibility that beyond that door is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellow. Yes. Here we go. Where's that? Well. Yep. Huh. I didn't know they captured my room for the game. Interesting. What's happening here? Why is everything upside down? Rats! There ain't no one in it after all. But there must be. It was only moments ago that we heard those noises. Maybe that was the sound of Drebber running away. But there's only one door into this room. And no windows that could afford an escape route. Those skylights are too high. Huh? What's that up there? Are they footprints on the ceiling? Spider Pig. Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. Blimey. What are we here then? Looks like someone was trying to burn something in a hurry. Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints. To what? To that Professor Airbrain's bombing machine, is it? Blimey! If we'd had these, there'd have been no need to muck about trying to investigate all that scrap metal. There is something of great interest here too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of that pillar. A rope? What's significant about that? Never mind. Sholmes, what are you trying to tell us? You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Nutterhodo. I don't have time for your silly riddles, Sholmes. Oh, but it's important indeed. We must investigate the entire room thoroughly, and before the forensic investigation team arrived too. Yes. Look at this. It looks like a ball. Let's see. Almost every piece of furniture is upside down. Even Mr. Sholmes' suite isn't ever in this much of a mess. You're in no position to comment on mess, Mrs. Naruhodo. But I suppose it's not quite the same thing, is it? I mean, it's not messy in here per se. It's that everything is literally upside down. But why? I don't know, Mrs. Sato. You're the queen of cleanliness. So how could you know what that is? It's a really lovely model. It looks just like a real flying balloon. I think it's probably staying aloft on the same principle as a full-size balloon, using gas. A green flying balloon. It does have the hallmarks of that amazing deception at the Great Exhibition, doesn't it? Could it be that the whole thing was planned here in this very workshop? Maybe. You never know. There's no denying it, is there? They're footprints. Yes, it would appear so. And I simply can't imagine how they came to be there. Isn't there a Susato shoot-up or something? Like a Susato takedown, I mean? I'm no Wonder Woman, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay, you're not Wonder Woman. Are you Captain Marvel? Because you could be that. That was an option, Mrs. Sato. You could be like OP as hell. That would make her almost superhuman, I suppose. I mean, yeah, true. Okay, let's see. Let's keep. I don't want to get to the bomb just yet. I need to take a look at everything first. It's a very large safe. I don't suppose even Mr. Sholmes could open that lock. Although, if you were a thief, you could just steal it, the entire thing, I suppose. It's bolted to the floor to prevent exactly that sort of underhand trick, Mr. Naruhodo. Well then, you could just steal the floor as well, I suppose. I'm sorry, but you really aren't making any sense at all. Oh, come on, that's like a foolproof plan, Susato. What are you talking about? Anyway, I think we can agree that whatever is inside must be very important. Yep, maybe. Anything else in here? Okay, I think it's time to address the elephant in the room. Him. Mr. Sholmes? Have you found something? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, in point of fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make? What do you make of this? Let's see. I've never seen anything like it before. It looks like a bundle of thick cigars after. Ah! Mrs. Sato, what's the matter? That's a. Surely that's a time bomb, isn't it? What? Did you say? A time bomb? Sorry, but what is a time bomb exactly? Ah? You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I won't take that as a compliment. Ha! You don't know nothing, do you, Odo? You haven't got a clue of what it is either, have you, Gina? No! I invite you to consult a dictionary later, Mr. Naruhodo. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, though I confess it has a very similar appearance. Oh, well, thank goodness. But then, what is it? Give me 1 second to think. Yes, indeed. I see. So that's it. Huh? Goodness, Mr. Sholmes, have you seen the heart of the matter? There are times when I consider my lot most unfair, for I am fated to never know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. But I have learned to accept the hardships that come with being a great detective, Mr. Sato. Here we go. I feel a great deduction coming. Hey, they're always fun. Once again, I can draw 2 conclusions from the scene we see before us. First, is that the invented nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drebber himself. Oh, but how could you? And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor there is without question completely genuine. Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything. It would be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civic duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade. Well, Inspector Gregson seems delighted with the idea anyway. Oh, you deflected the inspector's glare with such fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done. You're too kind, my dear madam. I hereby dedicate this great deduction to you. Kindly stand just there, Mr. Sato. Nope, to the right. There you go. Take it back now. Oh, yes. I'd be delighted. So, shall we begin? Once again, Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Oh boy. And it begins. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Flipped furniture. Conclusion. She's so excited. It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. Give me 1 second. Got to put my camera up here. It's weird where you should put it. There we go. The bed, the tables and chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had, until recently, been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor.
Every item in the room was on the ceiling? Are you suggesting that?
Indeed, the key here jeez, is gravity. Jeez, Susato must be tripping. Because like everything's happening around her, she's like,
Am I on that newfangled cocaine?
it would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the earth. She must be thinking. That face of hers, like she's like tripping hard. But the gravity in this room was reversed, and then suddenly restored to normality.
Goodness.
My God, it's like, what are you on, Susato? And can you give that to me, please? The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. I quite understand your skepticism, Mr. Sato. I too was incredulous at first. However, my conviction is my analysis was cemented when I observed this. An anti-gravity device, almost identical to one that featured in a dream of mine only the other day, in fact.
But then why does it have a clock on it?
A most relevant question indeed. That is a timing device that controls when the gravity direction will switch. There was clearly a requirement for the engineer to be able to restore normal gravity automatically. And the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the door was the moment that restoration occurred. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because the anti-gravity device. Or is it anti? The anti-gravity device. There we go. Yeah, that's better for the accent. So you see, we need look no further to explain the state in which we now find this room. The direction in which gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Drebber, before being restored to normality in an automatic fashion sometime later by the timer device. I have witnessed precisely this scene in a dream I once had when I fell out of bed. Jesus. So we're relying on a dream. Because gravity was reversed. Okay, sure, we'll go with that. Okay, topic number 2. Missing engineer. Okay, let's go. Now, let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads.
Yes. How is it possible that there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling?
A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Of course, Mr. Drebber's aim was singular, to escape. However, there is but one way into this room, excepting the skylight, that is.
Ah.
By inverting the gravity in here, Drebber was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling and make his escape via the otherwise inaccessible skylight, leaving those footprints behind on the way.
But the ceiling in here is very high, Mr. Schultz. If the gravity reversal was sudden, wouldn't Mr. Drebber have fallen up to the ceiling rather violently?
Falling up is both scientifically and philosophically a rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was cornered with nowhere to run, so escaping through the skylight was his only option. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution.
Oh, the rope!
To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? By anchoring one end to the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely to the ceiling. Which explains how Drebber was able to escape this room before our arrival. He reversed the pull of gravity and fled via the skylight. And personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now, just for fun. I wonder what he would do if he had that power. Actually, no. No. Don't give him that power. By any means, do not give Sholmes that power. He's going to get too powerful for our simple minds. Oh boy, I cannot imagine what he would do if he had like an anti-gravity device. I don't want to know what he does. Please, Sholmes, please don't. Please. Oh boy. Oh boy. I love and hate this man at the same time. Like, it's unhealthy. Thus concludes Erlock Sherman's great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. I want to see their faces again. What? Huh? Hey, I wasn't listening. I was... Toby, stop it! Oh, Mr. Sholmes. She's completely spellbound. Mr. Sholmes, there is just one thing that troubles me. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life. The thing is such a thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device? I mean, I would say that with a man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 20th century, it's no more possible than instantaneous kinesis. So, impossible. But your whole deduction hinges on it. Ah, but my dear fellow, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. However improbable it may seem. It's a marvelous line, wouldn't you agree? One of my more enduring pearls of wisdom. I had Iris come up with the exact phrasing. My original was clumsy.
Yes, I have a feeling I've read it in something that Mrs. Sato lent me once. That is very much like how... That is like a good thing to use in life. The Sherlock Holmes version of deduction. Of once you eliminate the impossible, everything else is a possibility. I think that is a good thing to have in mind, just in case.
Objection!
I didn't give you anything. Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Sholmes.
The spell's broken at last.
The rope you found on the floor was found on the floor, wasn't it?
Indeed it was. In lonely coils near the wall.
But if Mr. Drebber had used it to escape in the way you described, wouldn't it still be tied to the wall?
No, because I say so. Mysteries inevitably unravel in the end. As I think, you'll find two ropes. And as evidence of such, you need only look at the mystery we face in this room, now skillfully unraveled.
That argument is as circular as the coils of the rope. I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Sholmes the usual little helping hand. I'm sure with some minor corrections, the great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth. Yes, you're right. And we must do it quickly before Enoch Drebber gets too far away.
If you're ready, then let us resume. Erlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. With corrections.
Course correction.
Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. It's plain to see that this entire room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table and chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had until recently been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down out onto the floor.
Every item in the room was on the ceiling? Are you suggesting that?
Get ready to trip, Mr. Sato. Indeed, the key here is gravity. It would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the earth. For the gravity in this room was reversed and then suddenly restored to normality.
Goodness!
The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business.
To think gravity could have been reversed in this very room, I find the whole idea utterly enthralling. Only Mr. Sholmes could conceive of such an explanation. But the man himself admitted it was a scientific impossibility, so... Yes, you're quite right. We must completely discount the idea at once.
Yeah, Susato, don't get too enamored with Sholmes. I mean, I do, but you shouldn't let yourself get too, enthralled with him. He's...
Oh, that's unusually merciless of you, Mr. Sato. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. The great detective himself said so, didn't he?
While refusing to part with his dreams of anti-gravity devices.
Yes, I suppose so.
Well, let's see if examining this topsy-turvy scene a little more closely reveals some proof that shows exactly what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing. Well, I wasn't expecting to find a pretty bunch of flowers in here, that's for sure. Ah, look at that! Oh, what? That was Susato! That was Susato! Oh god.
I know. That slender little vase looks like...
Should just invert their voice for the rest of the game.
Oh, well look at that.
I know. That slender little vase looks like it's about to topple at any moment. But the flowers are thriving. Somehow it makes you think of the fragility of life, wouldn't you say?
To be honest, Mrs. Naruhodo, something else about it made a rather deeper impression on me. Like, how could it be like this in this state?
She's like, if Madame Tussauds is up to here with Sholmes' BS, then Susato's up to here with Ryunosuke's BS. You know that's how it is with her.
Take that!
The upright vase clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, you've surpassed yourself by completely turning my argument on its head, like the anti-gravity device over there. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps. No one is trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Sholmes, trust me. As you rightly say though, it appears at first glance that all the furniture in the room is upside down. This unassuming slender vase is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe, there is nothing affixing it to the floor. And it's the exception that breaks the rule. In short, much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never inverted at all. My deepest sympathies for your loss.
Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes.
He's pissed. But the show must go on. So, let us continue with our deductions and no more interruptions. Now that we know this contrivance is not in fact an anti-gravity device, there remains but one other possibility.
You don't say.
Someone deliberately turned over every piece of furniture in here.
Which might sound obvious, but leaves one mystery very much unsolved. Namely, why would anyone choose to do that?
Quite, and naturally, there is an explanation. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device.
He's absolutely determined that this device must have something to do with it, isn't he? I'm afraid the lure of an exciting scientific explanation is too strong. Well, there's no doubt that somebody did this. Somebody turned all this furniture over. So whoever it was must have had a reason. I'm afraid nothing comes to mind at all, though. Well, let's look around to see if the answer presents itself.
Let's take a look around. There we go.
Look, there's something written on the underside of this armchair. Oh yes, safe 432582.
Safe? As in safe and secure?
As in secure, lockable box, I think. Admittedly more likely. Well, there is a large safe bolted to the floor on the other side of the room, so yes. So, you mean this number would let us open it? I wonder why it's written here, though.
Let's
take that!
Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the safe combination.
Precisely. I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that you had a very similar experience once, did you not?
Yes, last year. When I bought a lottery ticket and noted the ticket number down on the inside cover of a book, just in case.
That's it. For people are forgetful souls at heart, and always make a written note of important information.
Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more sensible, I think.
And what pray happened next, Mr. Naruhodo?
When the day of the draw came around, I'd forgotten which book I'd written the number in and had to turn my room upside down to find it.
That's it, for people are forgetful souls at heart, and always forget where they've noted things down.
Not if you always note things in the same place. I actually won the second prize, you know. But I couldn't remember which magazine I slipped the ticket into, so I had to turn my...
Thank you, Mrs. Naruhodo, but I believe I proved my point now. Just that a very similar scenario has clearly unfolded in this room.
Finding himself requiring access to the safe, the occupant of this room needed the combination code. He remembered that he'd written it on the underside of a piece of furniture, but forgot which one.
Leading to the state in which we now find the room. Yes, Mr. Drebber overturned all the furniture in here, in a desperate hurry to locate the combination code that would unlock the safe.
Let me just change it up a bit. To find the safe combination. Bingo! Solved! Now, about the missing engineer, Sholmes. Tell me, what did you say again?
Now let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads.
Yes, how is it possible that there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling?
A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight.
Well, if a change in the direction of gravity can't explain it, then how did those footprints get up there? Yes, I feel as though that particular mystery has just become even harder to solve. I can't think of any other way to explain it at all. Oh, life was so much simpler in those
How do I say that word? Give me 1 second. Let me look that up.
Halcyon.
Halcyon. Halcyon. Okay. I'm glad, like, okay, I'm grateful they have really good localized dialogue for this game, but at the same time, I'm like, oh god, it's the period words. I hate period words and everything because, oh my god. English is hard, okay? It's my only language, and yet it's so hard. Why does it have to be like this? Okay, now we know how to pronounce that word.
Oh, life was so much simpler in those halcyon days when gravity could be reversed.
It was minutes ago, and those halcyon days never existed in the first place.
Well, I suppose we must simply put our faith in Mr. Sholmes and observe the area in more detail.
Yeah, you like to put your faith blindly in him, huh? Putting our faith in Mr. Sholmes is what gets us into these situations in the first place. See? Ryunosuke gets it. Okay, let's take a look. It's hard to believe, but there's a shoe up there. Look!
Oh yes, and there are more footprints on this little balloon too. Perhaps the shoe was thrown up there and became lodged, do you think?
If so, then judging from the number of footprints, it must have been thrown up several times. Why would anyone be throwing shoes up at the ceiling, though?
Oh dear, that's beyond me, I'm afraid.
Okay, let's
Take that!
The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby shoe. And on closer inspection, there are clearly footprints all over the balloon as well. In other words, the aim was never the skylight light at all, but the balloon.
But for what purpose?
A green balloon. That seems somewhat familiar data.
Huh? It was a piece of green balloon's envelope that Mr. Naruhodo and Iris found at the scene.
And inside the green balloon that Mr. Gaunt claims he saw above the stage when the incident occurred was the second birdcage, the crux of the whole instantaneous kinesis deception.
You mean to say?
If we assume the balloon in here is a model of the one used on the day, there is a strong possibility that something may be concealed inside it. Something our absconder was desperate to retrieve before making a hasty getaway. But the balloon's out of reach, hence why he resorted to a projectile, namely a shoe. Most probably, Drebber intended to tear a hole in the envelope by assailing it with the shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted when the shoe itself became a prisoner of those lofty heights.
Oh dear. We desperately need to examine that balloon. If there were some way we could see inside.
You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution.
Oh, the rope.
To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope?
Mr. Sholmes has managed to bring the deduction back to the rope.
Alright, I have to admit, that was clever. So we just throw the rope up to the balloon and then pull it down to us on the ground?
Which is much easier said than done, I feel. It could take us a very long time as well.
True. Perhaps we need a more surefire method. In fact, we already have one, of course, don't we? Might not be safe in this room, but we have one. It's my attorney armband. It's Andrew. I mean, these two options are great. This one, and then this one. And hey, let's not forget the trusty back massager. No. It's the bird cage that's what's gonna get us. Okay, let's stop screwing around. Let's go.
Take that!
To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this crossbow?
That was found at the scene, in fact.
And in all likelihood belonged to Mr. Drebber. If the man had only brought it away with him that day, he could have avoided losing a shoe at such a critical time as this. So, shall we? Your curiosity is deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellows. What is it that Enoch Drebber has hidden inside that balloon?
What the? A waxwork?
Indeed it is. A waxwork head inside a metal mask. A mask that is shut tight and fastened with a strong and quite impenetrable lock.
So we can't see the face inside, that means. Just a moment. This is the head of a waxwork model? Does that mean... Oh goodness!
I see you've joined the dots, Mr. Sato. Excellent.
Ah, of course. A headless waxwork model. The case of the abducted Madame Tussauds model that you largely solved. It was only the head of the killer that was still missing.
Indeed, it was. But I believe Madame Tussauds would now have to settle her sizable account with me. This, as you've now surmised, is the head of the infamous professor.
Yes. But why is it here?
This conclusively confirms my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the professor from Madame Tussauds and returning it on set earlier today was none other than Enoch Drebber.
This is incredible. Professor Harebrain's case and the waxwork abduction are... They're inextricably linked by Enoch Drebber's workshop. The waxwork head has been entered into the court record.
We gotta keep going. Well, it appears our logical pleasure cruise has come to an end, my dear fellows. All that remains is, yes, to speak with the architect of this adventure.
The architect? You mean Mr. Drebber?
As it seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights. Obviously, the man must still be here in the room.
What?
And his location should be abundantly clear. If you simply reflect on the journey we've made together during this deduction.
Enoch Drebber's right here, somewhere in this room?
So, Mr. Naruto, will you do the honors?
Yes, of course. Mr. Drebber's hiding place must be the... the wardrobe, just like it was back on the ship.
Take that!
Before we gained access to this back room, we heard noises from in here.
Which tells us that the engineer was still in the building at that point in time.
He was in fact searching for the combination to his safe.
And pressed for time, made no attempt to right the furniture that he overturned in the process. From which we can deduce that his search for the combination happened very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Enoch Drebber is at this very moment inside the safe. thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle.
This is a lot for this man. Like, I get tired of him. Like, I love him to death, but oh my god, he makes me so tired.
Elementary, my dear Mr. Naruto. So, Mr. Naruto, I think perhaps it's time we ended this game of hide and seek, don't you?
By opening the safe, you mean?
What else?
Let's see. The combination was 1432582. I knew that. All right. Here goes.
Well, hello there.
You found me.
Okay, I love doing Drebber. He's actually one of my favorite characters to voice, mainly because like he's very like on my low, like not low side, but he's in the lower range, which I very rarely hit for these characters.
All right then, sir. Mr. Enoch Drebber, I presume.
Correct.
You better start talking. You tricked Professor Hairbrain with that bogus machine you built.
And you shall have to explain the theft of the waxwork from Madame Tussauds as well. Whilst I would be delighted to answer your many questions. Personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Deactivate? Your parcel? I refer, of course, to the time bomb. I left it in a most prominent position. Ah!
Should have backed up.
Ha ha ha. I see. Stunned silence. You're all gearing up to die with me then.
No!
Mr. Sholmes, with only 7 seconds to spare.
That was too close for comfort. I've got one foot in the grave already.
Are you trying to help us get a killer or get us killed?
Mr. Sholmes' deductions can be completely life-altering, can't they?
Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. The resemblance of an anti-gravity device is really quite startling, I must say.
Anti-gravity devices don't exist.
I wouldn't push it, Mr. Sholmes.
So, why do you have to ask me then?
Actually, hold on. Can I click the thing again? Yeah. I still can't believe we were nearly blown up.
What was that sideways glance in aid of, Mr. Naruto?
I thought that deducing meaning from the movement of people's eyes was your specialty, Mr. Sholmes, of his speciality.
Never mind that now. Let's see what Mr. Drebber has to say for himself.
Alright, so, talk. Actually, did he say anything about my armband? I never tried it. It might surprise you to learn that I'm actually a lawyer from the Empire of Japan.
I detest lawyers. They wield so-called special powers in an attempt to grind down our freedoms. Yes, let me be quite clear. I detest lawyers very much.
Any chance 2 negatives make a positive?
No. What on earth happened in here? You found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems.
Yeah, well, we'll be giving it a thorough going over, don't you worry, Drebber.
What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop. That I was not expecting. Interesting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt. Whistling?
Ah, that would have been me.
Oh!
For some reason, I will confine Fettel today.
No words. Just tightly squeezed chips.
Clearly, I must have a screw loose though, as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. Oh, well, could I have done that? Who could have thunk? And another one loose, as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down.
We also found a rope over by the wall.
Yes, I had hoped to exit through the skylight, but sadly, the rope was too short. So, I then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe.
And burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably though, you failed to retrieve their head from the balloon among the rafters.
And after that, you hid yourself inside the safe? Having first set this parcel ticking? Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police.
Not a death wish, have ya? I'd right beside a tick a time bomb.
Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside the safe? It's no ordinary safe. It's specially designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't leave a scratch on it.
So in fact, the safe was the only safe place.
Badumtis. Precisely. But once you climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again. I invite you to look more closely. The safe is fitted with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be unlocked from within. Ah, so it is. I had always intended to blow this place to smithers in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans.
Do you mean to say you were planning to blow us all up?
No, that was unforeseen.
What do you mean?
Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet.
Ah,
I calculated the time required for retreat to a safe distance and set the device accordingly. But your seemingly endless discourse in here threw a spanner in the works.
Is something wrong, Gregson? Do I have something on my face besides the usual eyes in your ears, nose, and mouth?
I think we have a fairly good idea of what's been going on in here now. But what about the two incidents you've evidently been involved in recently? Professor Harebrain's instantaneous kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition, and the waxwork model you stole, which this head belongs to.
That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the professor. Clad in a mask with a lock so strong, I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. I've been considering carrying it out as protection.
That's enough!
Oh, that's enough! What's going on here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here.
Yes, well.
Dr. Scythe again. So the forensic investigation team are here. And you know full well this engineer is a key witness. Why are you allowing this lawyer access to him? If Lord Strongheart knew of this, you'd be finished. You lot, leave at once.
My dear madam, there's no need for such a threatening tone, I assure you. I will kick myself out of the sea with his own boot. After all, that's no way to greet an old acquaintance, is it, Dr. Scythe?
Hello, Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes knows Dr. Scythe?
If it's protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face, you are quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a shell, you...
Get out!
But of course. But of course. We'll show ourselves the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes?
It would appear that our delightfully entertaining investigations have run their course for today.
But Mr. Sholmes...
Let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hands.
What? I said get out. Now. All of you.
Oh wait, no, let me do it again.
I said get out. Now. All of you.
I don't know if I like better.
Your presence here is not required either, Gregson.
Understood. But I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, we'd never have found this place. And the whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There was a time bomb set in here that this lot disarmed.
Inspector.
Huh? Something giving you a chuckle, has it?
Ah, so sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? Yes, you did disarm that one.
What are you? That one? That what? You mean?
Oh boy.
Oh, this poor man.
Oh boy.
Real quick, he had to like set that up way in advance, right? Because that had to be put in there a long time ago, and he could have sneaked by the guards and everything. That's true. He could have sneaked past them, but at the same time, it's like, how do you miss that man? I don't know.
It was an hour later that we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage at the Great Exhibition. Professor Harebrain's invention and all its secrets were blown away forever. But that's not gonna stop me.
I feel like that's like a villain horror story for him, or horror like origin story for Naruto. That's like,
But that won't stop me.
okay, we'll do a quick save here. We'll probably get to right before the going inside the courtroom, and then I'll just stop it there.
Good morning to you, Mr. Naruto.
Ah, good morning, Professor. Ready for today's proceedings?
I hope so. I should be, even I with nothing left.
Good morning, my dear fellows.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're here.
Why, naturally. A true gentleman stands shoulder to shoulder with his friends in battle at all times.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'll see you later then. Now, Professor, we really need you to remain calm in the courtroom today. Yes, do try your hardest not to enter the witness stand uninvited again. Yes, I will. I realized it was a mistake, but
My dear fellows, I must interject. Look at me.
Oh,
You're still here, Sholmes?
what's the matter?
Surely you've overlooked some praise, have you not? To be cast in my direction,
Sorry? I don't follow.
Must I spell it out? I, the great Herlock Sholmes, the greatest detective of worldwide acclamation, arose at some ungodly hour to be here now. First thing in the morning, a miracle, you must agree.
Well, if I must agree, then I don't.
As you know, my sleep is quite impregnable. Iris had to employ her full gamut of tactics. She pulled the covers off, shook me, poked both cheeks, punched me, and kicked me from the bed. Then she poured a boiling cup of her latest experimental blend on my face, and at last I was bestirred.
Oh my. Iris has been busy.
I like to imagine like you know the scene in Tangled when Rapunzel is trying to fit Flynn into the wardrobe, and she's trying all those things. I can only imagine like the same thing with Iris. Like, it's like doing hard cuts from like her like slapping his face, pulling the covers off, pushing him off the bed, and then she finally thinks she's pouring on his face. Like, can someone make that like an animatic or like some kind of thing, please? I want to see it happen.
Iris doesn't have it in her to go that far. She's too nice. I sense the spirit of a fellow scientist. One who relishes the infinite possibilities of blending tea.
I'm the one worthy of praise here, not Iris. This is my victory. Sorry to cut in. Oh, it is Gregson.
Oh, Inspector Gregson. Good morning.
Gregson, my dear fellow. Why the grim expression at this delightfully early hour? Oh, I don't know. Might be because I've been confronted with a grimy expression, eh? Dear me. Are you going to take that insult lying down, Professor?
What? I don't know. Poor Professor.
Anyway, here's the paperwork you asked for.
What paperwork?
Ah, I took the liberty of requesting it yesterday. I have a feeling it may prove useful. You wouldn't believe the hoops I had to jump through to get this brought out of the archives. It's the professor's autopsy report.
That mass murderers? Who killed the 5 members of the aristocracy?
It was found guilty in a close trial 10 years ago now. It was all done under wraps. And he was quickly executed soon after the trial. It's all in here.
The killer's autopsy report has been entered into the court record. I don't know what to say. Thank you, Inspector.
Yes, much obliged, Gregson. Us lowly lot at the yard are just doing what we can. And the shadow of the great detective shone across.
Well then, Professor Hairbrain, this is it. Today we're going to lay all this to rest at last. I wish you the best of luck, Professor. I suppose he'll be in there today, will he? Drebber. Yes. We expect the prosecution to summon him as a witness.
I'm still amazed that you managed to find him in just one day. I really owe you both so much. Counselor and his defendant. The trial is about to resume. Kindly make your way to the courtroom at once.
This sounds like that one jury member's voice mixed with like the weirdest voice I could possibly give.
This is it then. The final chapter. Funny. My heart's racing a little. I've not felt this before actually. This strange foreboding. As if something's going to happen in this trial that I'm not ready for. But I can't let that distract me from the only thing that really matters. Finding the truth. Because truth is the only way.
I'm sorry. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare that this court to be in session again. We resume the public hearing of Albert Hairbrain, here present who stands accused of murder. Are the counsels for the prosecution and defense ready to proceed?
The prosecution is ready, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. As promised, Lord Van Zieks has his apprentice with him. His apprentice with memory loss.
If I may, Lord Van Zieks.
Yes, my lord.
There appears to be someone standing at your side, behind you.
Ah, yes, my apprentice and assistant. The prosecution believes today's proceedings will see the complexity of this case rise considerably.
That was kind of hot.
I therefore instructed my assistant to attend to ensure the smooth running of the trial. And the smooth running of liquid refreshments by the look of it. The way he holds himself, the way he moves. It could be anyone else. But he's still suffering from amnesia, so there's really nothing we can do at the moment. I know, but this is so very hard.
It would appear the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands that the court made yesterday. I understand you have successfully secured the engineer who disappeared from the scene on the day in question.
Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly.
Very good, very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this courtroom today, are you ready and willing to proceed? Of course, my lord. I'm sure we all understand the importance of doing our civic duty.
I do so despise deception and deceit. I find it so very wearing.
To take a man's life with a conjuring trick, it is against the magician's code, not to mention the law. Any fake scientist should feel the wrath of God if you ask me.
We have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence, and then settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
Would you like to see my day? Would you like this at all?
If all parties are ready to proceed, you may begin, Lord Van Zieks. Before I do, my lord, there is a report I must read to the court. Yesterday at the Great Exhibition grounds, the evidence of primary importance in this case, the super high voltage kinesis detector. Albert, why do you do this to me?
I'm sorry, Barrack. I needed it to make sense to me.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me. The super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine, which was installed on the experimentation stage, was deliberately destroyed in an explosion affected by an unknown person or persons.
It was what? An explosion.
This is an outrage.
Yes, I heard this grave news yesterday. Scotland Yard submitted a report to my office in the evening. I read that the machine was blasted to smithers and the wreckage reduced to ashes in the flames. I have here a photographic print of the scene taken in the wake of the explosion. It shows what little remains of the machine. Yes, a terrible business.
He did it to destroy the evidence, did he? That Enoch Drebber.
The court will take this print as evidence, counsel.
The post-explosion photograph has been entered into the court record.
Late yesterday afternoon, the protection afforded to the machine by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act was revoked. However, before a thorough investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. As such, this will become a very different trial. As it stands now, with no evidence on which to draw meaningful conclusions, the authenticity of the kinesis machine will remain forever in obscurity. Indeed, a most unfortunate state of affairs. However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was the result of the actions of the accused. Of that we can be certain. For it was the accused himself who was operating the machine and ultimately caused its loss of control.
Also, very interesting view you got here, Van Zieks. How did you get this one? It's almost like you were there at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
As Lord Van Zieks rightly says, this is a very different trial now.
You agree with me? That's a first.
The accused accepts responsibility for his part in the events that transpired. He acknowledges that Mr. Asman died as a result of the accident caused by his machine's malfunction. However, unbeknownst to the professor, he was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters.
Names, counsel, if you please.
The engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, and the victim himself, Mr. Odie Asman. So what exactly were these two men up to behind the defendant's back? The defense intends to expose that information, thus establishing the unequivocal innocence of the defendant.
Thank you, counsels. The positions of the prosecution and defense have been clearly stated. Lord Van Zieks, summon your first witness, please.
At once, my lord.
The prosecution calls the engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, to the stand. State your name and occupation for the court.
Name, Enoch Drebber. Occupation. Hard to pin down, I would say. See that black monocle? Yes. Why do I feel as though I've seen it somewhere before? Oh, you too? I had exactly the same feeling myself. What are you all looking at me for?
Your file indicates that you are currently being investigated in connection with another case. The theft of a waxwork model, is it? A most extraordinary sounding business.
But that has no bearing on this trial, I assure you. Cleave it from your mind, or I shall cleave it for you.
You are familiar with the public experiment carried out at the Great Exhibition some days ago. The accused super high voltage instantaneous kinesis demonstration.
Yes, you could say that. I am aware of it. There was a terrible accident, wasn't there?
It was you, Mr. Drebber, who constructed the vast machine used in the experiment. Or so our investigations indicate. Can you confirm your involvement?
Yes, I constructed it, in precise accordance with the blueprints. But that's all.
The court will be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine, I'm sure.
An amazing device, if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinesis a reality at last. What?
Good gracious! Do you mean to say that the experiment was bona fide? Is that your belief, sir?
Yes, that is very much my belief. Such a waste that it blew up.
But we've already established the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate conjuring trick.
Objection!
You've established nothing of the sort.
Huh?
All that was shown during yesterday's proceedings is that the same outcome could have been produced by means of staged trickery. The defense merely proposed a method and demonstrated its feasibility, nothing more.
But
We've procrastinated long enough, I feel. Witness, you will now give your formal testimony about the machine that you constructed for the purpose of the demonstration at the Great Exhibition.
Understood. You know, I don't quite feel like I would give it now. I think I'll give it at another time.
So yeah, I think this is a good time to stop here because my dog needs to go outside and I'm getting kind of tired. It is pretty late. As you can see, it's at almost 10 o'clock. About to be 10 o'clock. So I think it'd be a good time for me to just go to bed. But yeah, so let me just quickly I always save twice just to be extra sure. So yeah, that was very interesting to say the least. The thing about Drebber is that the reason why I like him a lot is because for me, just having him be in my lower range is comforting. As you notice, he's kind of on the range of Susato and Ryunosuke, so he's very much down here while everyone else is up here. So having him and also Dr. Scythe is a great welcome change for that. And as you can see, I give him so much a monotone voice because it doesn't seem like much at first. It doesn't seem like it's a lot, but as you keep hearing it and you see his expressions, it becomes a bit more discomforting, which I've found works a lot in other media. So yeah, we finally get to hear his testimony, but in the next one. I may be back with it. Maybe I would say, I want to say Friday or no, wait, I think we're doing Persona 4 Gold on Friday. Yeah, I think I am. So we'll see the next time. Maybe on my Ace Attorney Tuesdays, I will see how Drebber is going to react. And I think, well, I already know, but we'll still see how it goes.
But yeah, having Drebber back is always fun. I obviously don't know if he comes back in the last 2 episodes of this one. I hope he does, because he's a really fun character to voice. I like doing the villainous characters, or like the antagonists, because they have the most not ridiculous voices, but they have the more like grounded voices I give them. Because in order for me to realistically get their points across, I need to be able to have more range in a more neutral area, rather than having just like archetypes or caricatures like I we see with Gina, Gregson, and Sholmes, and also the judge. But yeah, having him is a lot of fun, and I can't wait to keep doing it. So yeah, thank you guys for showing up today. Thank you for those who stuck around for the past hour and a half. This was a lot of fun. I love doing this for you guys, and I hope you enjoy it too. So anyway, this will be it for today. It is getting pretty late, and I have to get ready for bed. So thank you guys so much for coming, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!